I teach a lot about how to get into bottle service areas, how to do that, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in this talk as well. I don't want to emphasize it too much because I notice it goes over something. I almost have to like sell the reason why you should be listening to that. Pickup guys really like to have a good percentage of pickup guys like to have this tendency where they don't want to just submit to the process and change fully. They just want to stay who they are and then kind of still somehow get pickup results. You take a bottle service area kind of concept, and I feel like sometimes I like to have to convince people why that's such an important concept before they're just like, oh, but I don't want to know about that high value money type stuff. It's kind of interesting. You take a city like Vegas, that's the second one that I was going to mention, the bottle service, money, flashy, everything, right? It's crazy how many people, locals that I know, will valet their car at a club like, when they're going to a club like Excess, where second floor parking at the Wynn, for example, you're 30, 40 feet from the entrance to Excess, but they still want to valet because they still want that like something for nothing kind of approach where like you don't have to pay for the valet, but you still get this kind of image that's associated with it a little bit. Some venues aren't like that, but you take Excess, and I would never valet my car at Wynn Encore when I'm trying to go to Excess. It's just ridiculous. You have the second floor parking, you can walk the girl 30 feet from the exit of Excess and you're in your car. So you got the bottle service thing. So let's look at a few examples of that, right? Because it's Vegas. It's not just bottle service. What is it, right? Social status. So it's bottle service, social status. What are some other things in Vegas that, because here's the thing, there is a massive when in Rome approach to game. You can't really just go against the grain so much just to be different. That's the problem that a lot of guys get with the whole self-amusement thing. They get it wrong with the different high value things. They think that it's this going against the grain that's going to get them the result. Instead, you really have to look at it like, you take a city like Vegas. I don't want to give away the first one. I want someone to answer it. But the high status, high value kind of approach, right? What are the few of the other things? You have bottle service areas, just sheer quantity of bottles. What else do you have?
Maybe conforming to a certain dress code if that's not really your style.
Sure. So what's the typical like Vegas high value dress code? A little bit what you're doing right here. Maybe, cool. A darker, usually more of a darker thing underneath. It's a little more business than it is casual. But yeah, the suit with the pocket square, right? You look like a guy who would stand right outside the nightclub, VIP host kind of thing. What else? What are the high value things of Vegas besides the bottle service? So that's just such an easy win, right? What else? Cool. We're gonna get it.
Where the guys eating dinner at?
Where they're eating dinner at. That's a huge one for Vegas.
You have a penthouse.
There you go. See?
Like
Yeah, all these things, right? What I like about game is you can get all of these things without just having to be somebody who goes out and just spends a ton of money. That's kind of the point of game is this high leverage kind of situation that you create for yourselves. The specific thing about the bottle service, that's one of the biggest bang for your bucks that you can use as a pickup artist, as a guy who's trying to go out there and use game to crush it, because you take a city like Seattle, right? Anybody live in Seattle before, or anybody? No? You said something about up there, right? Portland, okay. So Seattle's not a bottle service kind of area. San Francisco. I've lived in San Francisco for a year at a time. San Francisco is one of the... San Francisco to me is the coolest city that you could possibly live in that also has the worst quality of girls you could possibly have. Like you look at that like ratio and like the attractiveness level of your girl compared to like the bomb ass restaurants and different cool things in the city is I've never seen such a disparity. It's crazy. But the bottle service thing, it's almost looked down upon to get bottle service in San Francisco. It's almost this like weird, like what are you doing? What are you guys celebrating? Why are you spending this money? Because everybody kind of makes decent money there, but nobody really wants to spend it on that kind of stuff, right? There's like what, 2 bottle service clubs really in the city. I mean, Temple, Audio, maybe Harlot too, I guess. Three bottle service cities, huh? Yeah, Temple, Harlot, and Audio. Temple's great if you love really fobby Asian girls, huh? Yeah, San Francisco, right? Harlot's probably the best club at the end of the day. Audio is kind of cool too, but yeah, it's you kind of have to look at it this way. When I go through these different talks, these different cities, we do free tours. It's really clear the guys that are in the room, for the most part, are the guys that either think that they don't have or genuinely don't have the characteristics of all the naturals in that city, right? So you go to Miami. Miami is all like Miami. When I say these things, I'm not trying to talk in absolutes. I'm just saying what the natural approach is in that city, or the mainstream approach in that city of getting girls. Miami is a city where it's purely about money. in terms of the mainstream approach to pick up girls. It's all about what type of car do you drive. It's even more than like Manhattan. Miami it's just those like who, what, why, and where questions are asked right away. So you look at the layer in Miami, the layer, inner circle, whatever you want to call it, in Miami, and it's full of a bunch of guys who like don't really want to work. It's full of a bunch of guys that like don't really want to play the value card. Like it's full of all these guys that are like that. You have a city like LA, right? What do you think the guys in that room are like? Yeah, we'll smoke a lot of weed. I mean, I feel like that's the entire state of California. They're just baked all the time.
I would be looking at 100% just social connections.
Yeah, you would be, right? So he really hit the nail on the head. I think it was you, right? So like it's like half the room are AV guys who work in audiovisual. Remember that guy was Michael? Was his name? I think you might have met him. It's guys who like moved to LA thinking they wanted to work in the industry or the entertainment. I mean, you know about this, right? Firsthand. It's guys who like think that they're going to take acting classes, become an actor. People who are in that entertainment industry because they kind of thought that was the path to get good with women. I have a lot of friends who live in Vegas because they thought they wanted to pick up girls in LA as a part-time actor. Realized they didn't really like acting at all. They just wanted that like lifestyle, and they realized they could have that lifestyle on day one moving to Vegas. So then they just drove 4 hours over here and then said, fuck LA. Well, that's one of the first things I teach everybody that comes to me and trains with me in Vegas is how to always make sure that they're at comp tables or some tourist table as much as possible, as often as possible. Because like you could spend 4 hours gaming in a low value area and gaming really, really well, and you'll never get the quality of girl that you have with average or even a little bit below average game in a really high value area. I go to almost every Playboy Mansion party, I go to almost every Maximum party. And while I'm there, I actually have like usually pretty low energy when I'm there, which isn't kind of my style. I'm usually kind of like the high energy crazy guy. So when I'm at those areas, I use like my like average level game in those places, and it's always way hotter type of girls that we're pulling. Anybody see my videos on YouTube? Anybody see them? Raise your hand if you've seen any of my videos. Cool. What do you notice how the attractiveness level of the girls in my videos are just significantly hotter than a lot of pickup videos? Yeah, it's like film those, and that's because the girls at those events, even like with your average level game, you on like a bad day, you're still going to pull a lot hotter girl at a high value event or a high value thing, like a bottle service area in a club in Vegas, than you will using much better game at a low value area. You guys understand that? Right? You can get into those things by just changing some habits of yours. It's not like you have to go out and exert all of this high value onto the world. Instead, really what you should do is use the techniques to get into these areas, to build yourself and your standing in these different environments, and then actually de-LV yourself. That's the best combination. That's the sweet spot. So the best thing you could do is get into these table areas the way he's discussing, the way you just mentioned, right? Not only table areas, but what are a couple other VIP kind of things? Events. What? The cabana area. Yep. Like at the pool areas, right? Cabana, now that those opened up. I mean, I love being like the most out of shape guy at the pool and like talking to the hottest girls at the pools, pulling the hottest girls at the pools, and like me trying to keep my pale skin, like me like pulling back a little bit because I don't want to be in the sun because I don't want the wrinkles. So like I'm trying to like stand, and I'm like I just can't be in the sun for very long. I'm like trying to like get out of the sun. I'm wearing like a full shirt, and I'm like hitting on these girls and like in the cabana area, and I'm like literally de-LVing myself the whole time, because most guys who are in the high value areas are trying to do what? Show off, brag, qualify themselves. Right? So when you're in that area and you're clearly trying to belittle yourself almost in like a sarcastic kind of way, I'm literally describing how like I just can't afford to be here. I'm describing how I really don't want to tan because I don't want the sun exposure. I don't want skin cancer. It's really just for my health. Like I'm almost saying these like dorky, geeky comments that are DLVs, demonstrations of lower value. And then what ends up happening is when the girl sees that, when you're in the VIP area, but you're talking about how you can't afford to be there, the girl then immediately thinks that you're higher value than everybody else there because you're saying those comments. Does that make sense? You're going completely opposite to what these other guys are doing, where they're just trying to show off consistently. Do you guys, anybody of you know? I snuck it into one of my videos, but do you know the #1 opener on really, really attractive girls? It's so who do you know here, right? So who do you know here? Because wherever there's a really attractive girl, she's in a social circle of some sort, right? So my standard opener on really, really attractive girls is, oh, so who do you know here? And then immediately she starts qualifying about who she knows and why she belongs in this area. Because only someone else of the high value I'll go up to groups that I don't know. This is like one of my specialties, getting into like really high value areas and having no business being there. Just so I don't forget, I'll tell this to all the Vegas immersion guys, but I'll tell this to you guys too. The easiest opener at a table area is to walk up to a group of whoever's at a table and say, hey, what up, table neighbor? Where are you guys from? Right? When you say, hey, what up, table neighbor, what does that imply? That you have a table in the vicinity. I'll go up. I'm kind of nuts too. I'm kind of crazy. I'll go up and I'll grab bottles off of another table. Like I'll go grab like an empty bottle of Goose off some dude's table. Go grab it. Like swing it around a little bit. I would say 90% of the nights I go out, I'm completely sober, and 10% I'm lit as fuck. I have no buzz. There's no in between whatsoever. It's just like, real fucking quick, right? I'm like 10% of the time just like complete, like barely even know what club I'm in, right? Probably will forget where I parked. I definitely Ubered home, but 90% of the time I'm sober. And when I'm sober, sometimes I'll grab like an empty bottle of Goose. I'll like walk around to some table and be like, hey, what up, table neighbor? And like usually there's just a little bit in it, so like I'll just pour it into their glass and be like, yo, let's get lit. And I'm just like I'm just trying to like party and rage, right? I'll pour it in, and then immediately they're like, yeah, come on by, have a seat, meet all of our people. Funny thing is, guys are so easy. Like that's the thing is like mixed sets especially, they're so easy. Like you go up like and just say, hey, what up, and like try to hit on their girl in some like polarizing or alpha kind of way. Immediately they're gonna be like, yo, get the fuck away. You pour like $4.50 worth of vodka in their drink, or like you walk up and say table neighbor and don't do the ballsy alcohol thing I just described. They think that you don't want anything from them, so then immediately they're like, oh, here's the keys to the castle right here. Right? So you walk up, you say, hey, what up, table neighbor? You're now immediately in that area. And you can usually just stay in that area. They'll usually pour you drinks. They'll introduce you to the girls. And as long as you, guys are so easy. As long as you don't hit on the immediate girl that he wants to fuck, you could hit on any of the other girls and they're totally fine. Right? It's totally fine. I have sheets that have the exact map and layout of every nightclub in Vegas with which number they're all at. So the way that that's beneficial is you know exactly what table number you need to go to if there's an area. Do you guys notice that there's like, not only are there VIP tables, there's also VIP areas, right? You'll have like some big Samoan guy will be like guarding like an area. If you know the table number of the area, they don't ask you any questions, and in fact, they'll lead you to exactly the table like you're a VIP. Right? So if you just know what table number is of the area, I don't even need to like sit at a table. In fact, when I usually have tables and invites all the time when I go out, and I never sit there because I don't want to be so stationary. Which I think is just, I get super bored if I have to be stuck in that one spot, even with a bunch of really pretty girls. I'm like, no, I want to like move around a little bit, right? However, if you know exactly what table number a certain table is, he'll put you into the VIP area and lead you like you're a VIP or like a king, and then as long as you just stay active and stay social, they won't ever move you from that area. You guys all understand that? So every table has a corresponding table number with the name of the person who bought the table. The number is significantly more important than the name of the person who bought the table ever. You guys all understand that? The numbers are very, very important. I'll regularly go into like Omnia, for example, and say, oh yeah, I'm at table 53. Right? And then they'll go, oh, okay. Because they see that you know the verbiage of that table, they will just walk you straight to that table. They'll push everyone out of the way and bring you straight to that table. Immediately, I'd walk up to the first friendly guy I see and be like, hey, what up? And just high five him. The bouncer will see the high five happen. Bouncer will walk away. And I'll be like, what up, table neighbor? And now I'm at the table. Right? And neither one was the wiser. Yes, if you have balls, then do the DJ booth tables. Yeah, but I mean, like excess. I've maybe for the past 2 years, I've never gone into excess and not sat next to the DJ. Maybe the past 2.5 years, maybe. And I spend 3-4 months not going to excess sometimes. And every time I come back, I don't even look at excess as a big club. I look at it as it's like one mini club, and that's that deck area where the DJ booth is at excess. That's like I would love to just see like nothing but PUAs up there. That'd be super cool if like every single PUA was just able to just say the same things that I say to get there and just do it, right? Just network your exact way to do it. Drew just gave you a really good tip on how to do that, right? Just make sure you say the table number of that table, and they'll just lead you right to it as if you belong. Here's the thing. First of all, there's like at best, if 5% of this room did it, that would be amazing, right? I've told this exact same thing over and over and over again to many different groups of people, and almost never do I see anybody up there. The goal is me teach you how to get to the DJ booth, and instead I see all of you in like the VIP dance floor table area. That would be pretty cool. And that's extremely doable. Extremely doable. Like on most nights, it's like 20% of the club maybe are free bottles, comp tables anyway. These comp tables, like my buddy gets a comp table every night he goes out, and he's got a new batch of 10 I'll get to you in a second, reasonably attractive girls at his table. He never knows who the girls are. They just, and he's a DJ at every, so he's a promoter basically for the first half of the night, and then he's a DJ the second half of the night. He cares only about his DJing, but he's not a big enough DJ to be anything but like the close. He's the guy that like is the DJ when like they're like sweeping and everyone like kicks everybody else out. Dylan Francis DJs for 17 minutes and then he gets off stage and then this guy comes on and DJs. So he doesn't give a fuck about the table, the alcohol, or the girls at the spot. So you might not be able to get into the DJ booth every time, but 100% of the nights you go out, you should be able to get to one of these comp tables, one of these industry tables, one of these areas. You get to drink for free, you get to hit on their girls because they don't even care about the girls. Most guys who work at clubs in Vegas are annoyed by the girls because the girls are a commodity here, meaning that there's just so many of them. Like if you walk up to it was one of the biggest myths I've ever heard in the pickup community is you want to try to get into a nightclub, walk up to the club with a bunch of girls, and they're going to be so impressed or enamored with you, I guess, that they're going to let you in. That's such a joke. I mean, you've done that, right? Where you walk up to the club with a bunch of girls, and what do they usually say if you don't know them?
If I don't know the...
If you don't know the door guy or host or whatever, yeah, what do they say?
Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off, or are you ready to pay cover for all of you people?
Yeah,
like, they're not, like, impressed at all. Even like, my buddies, when I walk up, they're kind of like, bro, dude, all right, I guess I'll write a slip for all these people. Like, they're slightly annoyed or vexed more than anything, right? I'd much rather go to nightclubs completely by myself and then meet up with the girls inside the club. Right? Because it's just not, it doesn't impress them. It's the women are a commodity. There's just so many girls, right? So the DJ booth, yeah, that might be difficult. But I will say this, I've definitely had like 10 to 15 PUAs at the XS DJ booth. And when I say DJ booth, I mean like, so there's the DJ booth, and then there's the DJ booth tables that are next to the DJ booth. Does that make sense? I've definitely had about 10 to 15 PUAs with me in that area before. Because as long as think about it, like everything that defines like a reasonably good PUA, or at least the things you're striving for, are the exact same characteristics of a guy that they want there anyway. A guy, like, it's crazy how many text messages I get per day saying, hey, do you know any cool guys? I have too many girls at our table. I need some cool guys to entertain them. Right? Minimum once a day I get that. Sometimes if I go out a lot, if I'm on a streak going out a lot, I get like 3 of those messages a day of these guys who just get all these referrals of girls, right? This is the way to like hack Vegas. Don't be some guy who like goes to fashion show and does like day game or something. Like it's just your quantity of girls. Like, what, you guys have done that or something? Yeah. I mean, I've been fashion show mall like 3 days a week, 4 days a week, man. I'm there all the time. And like, I like maybe once every 4 times I go, I get a number or something, like max once out of every 4. It's just not the right way to hack the system. The right way to hack the system is not to go out and drop 25 grand on bottles. It's to have friends that actually enjoy it and are excited to do it. It's not to hate on people who do that. I have a lot of friends who go out and drop 15, 20,000 on a night of bottles. I just can't do it. But instead, I can add value to them in other ways. And then in a night, though these are guys too, like, by the way, if you're getting like tens of thousands of dollars per night, they won't go to the club and not do it. They need to spend that kind of money in order to enjoy themselves on that given night. So why don't you both just enjoy what you're both trying to do on that evening, right? So I'm not telling you guys to go out and like play the value card. What I'm telling you to do is use the value card to your advantage. You guys understand that? Being very high energy in Vegas and being borderline obnoxious, borderline degenerate. Some of the guys who crush it and fuck more girls than I could even imagine, guys who fuck way more girls than me, do a pure degenerate game. They'll just stay up till 4 in the afternoon and fuck all these girls who are getting off of work at Dre's. They're done partying at 2 in the afternoon, 1 in the afternoon. And they're just, it's not even like that's that crazy late. It's just that's what their schedule is. Because once they go off work at Omni, at Hakkasan, they go to Dre's after hours to go party. They go to Rhino, get some chicken fingers, and then they're all looking to go fuck. So some of the guys that crush it that I know just do pure degenerate or obnoxious guy game. Right? I don't have the energy to like sustain that anymore and do that like regularly. But my buddy, like, he fucks so many girls. His primary works here as a cocktail waitress. And it's just pure, like, high energy, obnoxious guy. All of his text game is just memes, really funny memes. His in-person game is just crazy energy, crazy obnoxious level. So what are the actionable things so far? Table neighbor, fucking amazing opener. Make sure you have this guy's mentality of the bottle service thing. With you with the boredom thing. focus on getting them talking as much as possible and reframing what's exciting to you, right? What I mean by that exciting to you is the get as much persuasion and convincing ability out of the girl, right? Get all this investment from the girl and use that to excite you, to keep her not bored. Every time you see her kind of like turn her face, turn her body, break rapport immediately, disqualify. The second I ever see a girl give like a smidgen of disinterest, any sort of IOD, indicator of disinterest, I immediately say, exactly, and that's why, and then she sucks her back, and I say some funny shit, right? So if like she kind of like turns her head like this, I'll be like, exactly, that's why, and then I usually say something along the lines of like, it would never work out, or, see, that's why my mama doesn't like you and she likes everyone, right? Immediately she'll just laugh her ass off because of the song and the whole thing, right? Does that make sense? Cool. And to me, that's fun to say shit like that, but it's still a disqualifier, right? That's why exactly I only fuck you when it's 5:30, right? The Weeknd, it's a song from The Weeknd. So I mean that's a really good framework, by the way. Like immediately hit it with an aggressive pattern interrupt or an aggressive break in rapport, and then she looks at you and gets almost like confused. You're like alley-ooping the ball to yourself. You're throwing yourself the assist, right? It's like throwing the ball off the backboard and then dunking it yourself. Like, okay, so like in certain cities other than Vegas, New York, Miami, LA, cities that like I would never really be in unless I'm teaching a boot camp or something, they oftentimes will do the wristband. Like in Seattle, right? Seattle's a big wristband city. College bar areas are big wristband cities. But those are all places where the girls are going to be less attractive anyway. So I really wouldn't find myself there very often unless I'm trying to do some sort of like business thing or something with, like if I'm going there for any place that would have the wristband situation, I'm probably going to that place because of some guy, not because of some girl. Does that make sense? Like I'm going there to network with some guy or have drinks with some friend or business connect or something. The places that have really attractive girls will never have the wristbands, right? In Vegas, what are the places that have wristbands? Is Koi still open? Yeah, Koi had to shut down for a while because the wristbands. Koi used to have this crazy like unlimited alcohol thing if you had a wristband, and a couple girls got like alcohol poisoning in like 1 month. This was years ago. This was like before Chateau even opened. This was like when Pure was like first starting out, and it was crazy. The wristband thing is not for the high value area, right? Does that answer your question enough?
Yeah.
Cool.
What about Marquee Day Club?
Okay, so the day clubs do have the wristbands sometimes, right? So that's a little bit different. So what about Marquee Day Club specifically?
I was just saying, they wristbanded us last time we went.
Yeah, was it just to enter or was it for the VIP area?
Just to enter.
Yeah.
Whole club, I assume.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Kind of like here. Like there's 2 new guys that were working here. So like my desk for like my office is connected here. Like our Vegas Immersion, our Vegas Immersion team has a better office setup than all of RSD combined, and it's completely free just because of networking with the staff here, right? But even with that happening, the staff here tried to like wand me and like ID me as I was walking, and I walked past him, and as I walked past him, I didn't really have time. Usually I'm very, very nice, but I didn't really have time for it because I was wanting to get to you guys or whatever. So I was like, no, I don't have time for this, and I just walked right past him. I was like, and he was like, wait, but what? And I just kept walking, and then he just didn't say anything. And it was funny to me because I was like, wait, he doesn't know me. He's a new guy. It's a little rude of me to not like acknowledge the fact that he's new. And I'm wearing fucking sandals and like a tearaway shirt. Like, he wasn't that rude or crazy, right? To think that like he should want, you know what I mean? It wasn't that obnoxious of him. But I just didn't have the time to deal with this like authority kind of thing. So I just blew past it. That's kind of how I act at Marquee Day Club with the wristband thing. Some of you might be ready to kind of take on that kind of level. Here's the thing: the whole like you're good enough or what's the E word? Entitlement. That fucking word, right? Like at least half of you shouldn't be entitled. At least some of you don't deserve this kind of thing, right? The VIP treatment, right? Unless you have some sort of context and reason to get the entitlement or to have that VIP treatment. Do you see the difference there? Fake entitlement is worse than no entitlement. Okay. But if you just meet a couple people, and then from Marquee Day Club, for example, you meet this, right? You meet this at Marquee, you'll never need the wristband ever. They'll just give you a hard, they'll be like, oh, this fucker, yeah, he never wears this goddamn wristband. We keep trying to get him to wear it. And then you're just like, yeah, and then you like flick off the guy who's supposed to wristband you, and then walk past him. And like when you have that kind of relationship with him, then you don't even need the wristbands. And instead, the fact that you don't have I regularly go to Hakkasan and XS in sweatpants. Sweatpants and sandals, or like sweatpants and just like really comfortable shoes. sweatpants, usually like Kobe's or Jordans or something, and just like the most comfy sweatpants I could wear, right? And then it's this like crazy fashionable product. Then I'll wear like a button up though. Like it looks retarded. It looks ridiculous. But the fact that the fact that like I'm able to be that guy in that setting, it does two things. One is it gives me such high value because when girls see that and they're like, wait, how'd you? The point with the wristband thing and all that other stuff, right? Just you make a few connections by doing some of the stuff I've already described to you, and obviously a lot more. Like you could do the same investment game with guys as well. That's how I mean, because obviously like there's this little bit of this gap that has to be bridged between just meet these people, just like walking in and using your local ID again to nightclubs and then being able to wear sweatpants to get into the clubs and whatnot, right? There's this bridge that has to be gapped. Part of that gap is mere exposure, right? The more mere exposure is the more times you expose yourself to somebody, the more trust and attraction that you build up over time. So by doing the table number thing and doing the table drill over and over and over again, I keep ingraining in their minds that I'm that guy, that I'm the HNIC, right? The head nigga in charge. Some clubs in some areas will stamp you. I intentionally don't take the stamp because I want to do the strategy he just said. I don't want to be the guy getting the stamp. That's, I guess, the point I'm trying to make to you guys is my goal is not to teach you how to be the guy that they want to give the wristband to. My goal is to teach you to be the guy that doesn't fucking matter. Who gives a shit, right? I want to be the guy that like, not only do I know the owners, like, I don't want to be the guy that knows the owner. I want to be the guy that the owner knows me so well that like the texts are happening where then I get pushed to the owner's table. Every nightclub has an owner's table, right? And access is right when you walk in you walk up the stairs, you walk down the stairs, is right to the right. It's either for like huge spenders or or it's Wynn's table, his own table. Used to work there. Hakkasan has their own table. Every club has the owner's table. Like I want to be led directly to that table where there's a thing called the NFU list. You guys know what NFU list? What that means? What it stands for? It's called the No Fuck Up list. It's an actual list at nightclubs that means that if you're on that list, they can't fuck up and they have to let you in by any means necessary and rush you to the front of the line and whatnot, right? If you don't even know that these things exist, you're never trying to attain that level of status. But when you can attain that level of status, I almost don't even call it social circle game, because every time I talk about stuff like this, everyone's like, yeah, you're the social circle guy. That's why you talk about stuff like that. I'm like, no, like even when I cold approach, I'm still taking advantage of these things. I'm just trying to cold approach in a much better environment and stack the odds in my favor. I want to rig the game so that I get hotter girls than the next guy more often, right? So in a situation like this, exactly what you just described is what I do in order to have them come back in. I make it such, and I do that in nightclubs too. I'll get into the nightclub by any means necessary, and then when I'm leaving, I'm the slowest guy ever to walk in or out of nightclubs. I'm so slow. I'll sometimes take 10, 15 minutes to walk into a nightclub. After I've already and this is the funniest part, after I've already gotten ahead of the line in my ID check, like at surrender, I'll take 15 minutes sometime to walk from that first rope into that right side door into surrender. Because I'm saying hi to everybody. I want them to all see this stupid face as much as possible, as long as possible, before, and then like I'm like walking backwards. I'm seeing someone else that I forgot to see. Oh, hey, what up, Jay Sean? Hey, what up, Julian? Hey, and I'm just like saying hi to everybody. And it's the same, it kind of feels stupid and weird to do that every Wednesday. And then I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, but like, it's like, wait, but that's what people do who don't need the wristband. They are still doing that. It feels weird to me because it just seems kind of incompetent. Like it just seems weird to like say hello to do that same like nightclub high five cordial thing, the high five with the pat on the back. I just saw you yesterday and the day before. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Why do we need to do this huge like, you again? What's up, fucker? How's it going? But like every night we see, 7 nights a week, there's certain guys that I have that like surprise, like crazy to see you again. Like it makes me feel stupid every time I do it. It just works so well. So why fight it, right? It's like it's kind of the opposite of like being polarizing, right? Like that aggressive sexual escalation, polarizing, see a girl and reach out and grab her, talk about shit that interests you. All of that type of game can be lumped up into game that works really well on college campus drunken bar situations, right? You want to do heavy keno? Do the heavy keno in a drunken bar Austin 6th Street kind of context. You want to fuck really hot Tropic Beauty girls, Playboy Playmates, Maxim models. You do hands-off game. Don't talk about what interests you. Just be very assuming of the value. Remember the opener that I gave you guys to the really hot girl opener? Didn't you remember what it was? So yeah, and the so is very important. So who do you know here, right? it's almost kind of being like, why the fuck are you here? Like, so there's like a certain like undertone to it that's like me wondering if she really belongs or if I need to go grab somebody to kick her out. So who do you know here? But I'll say that as an opener, and I won't know anybody. That's why it's funny. I look at her and I'll be like, oh, so who do you know? Who do you know here? And she'll be like, oh, I know Jack and Sam Rima, he's the Playboy casting director. I know him because of this reason and this reason. And usually I'll be like, whoa, I get it. All right, I won't ask you to leave then. Because like she's just going to dump all this investment onto you. That's, to answer your question earlier, that to me is very exciting. And the rush of the fact that I don't really belong there, combined with what I'm saying, to me, I'm like a pig in shit. I think that's awesome. That's so cool for me to have that type of interaction. Does that make sense? I love doing like crazy shit in the middle of Cosmo Casino, and then getting told that I need to go to Talon Club because like they want to like one time this happened where they reviewed. I was with my buddy Jack. He's a big gambler at Cosmo, and they actually reviewed the security tapes with us because we were they're like, yo, when you guys sober up, you guys don't think this is really funny because we were just acting drunk and stupid in Cosmo. They brought us into the Talon Club, which is like a really high limit area of Cosmo, and then they literally had to talk with us about how they're gonna have to show us the security tapes, and then 2 days later they showed it to us because it was just so obnoxious. You should never go into game in a night thinking every set is either I either fuck her or I don't, and I got blown. Like I haven't been blown out in years. Because there's no blowout. Either I'm choosing to hit on this hotter girl, or I'm going to choose to stay with this girl and get a number or fuck. There's no like hit on 30 girls in a night, 15 kind of went okay, 15 get blowout. Like that whole idea of like that polarizing, either the set goes really well or poorly, is just, that's terrible social skills. That's terrible game. Huh? Yeah, at a certain point, you have to have this blow me or blow me out kind of mentality after you've been with the girl for 2, 3, 4 hours, right? Then yeah, blow me or blow me out, right? Make the host say no kind of thing. But before that, but like when I'm walking that table and I say, oh, so who are you, so who do you know here or whatever, or so who'd you come here with or whatever it is, I've already done the whole table drill with the bouncer. The bouncer's already, remember how I said that when the bouncer brings me over, I'm already high-fiving some dude as soon as I get there, right? So I'm already having 3 to 5 names to work with. And then when she's like, oh, so I'll be like, yeah, I know Jack. And she'd be like, oh, you know Jack? And then I'll look at Jack and be like, what up, bro? And then all of a sudden Jack, because I just high-fived him, will look at me and go, right? He'll like do the dismissive jerk-off motion to me, or he'll flip me off. Right. And then immediately she goes, oh, okay. But I've known him for 3 seconds, 5 seconds of an interaction. But I just have the balls to act like that. And that immediately sets the frame of mine. Like I'm just like those are 3, 4 bottle buyers I know, right? Who are like, who like that interaction back and forth, who they like people giving them shit kind of, and then immediately she sees that, and then all is forgiven, all is good, right? And then I just play them off of each other for the whole night or for the next several months of knowing them. And then eventually now the facade just becomes real. Because then eventually we had these cool stories with each other. And then it's like, hey, when did we first meet each other? And then it's crazy the weird time distortion they'll have. It's crazy how many people that I've met in the past 6 months or a year and a half, and they're like, man, we've known each other a long time, like 3, 4, 5 years, right? And I'm like I met you like 8 months ago. Like I won't say that to them, but like when you have those kind of interactions where right off the bat, you're like flicking each other off, you're like I'll walk up to like who spends like 50 grand, 75 grand in a night, and I'll like start smacking him on the ass. Or I'll go down and throw his head into a noogie, and I'll start giving him a noogie, and then he'll just be like, oh, Luke, this fucker! And everyone's like, holy shit, he just gave a noogie. What the fuck? And then they see that, and then like Jack will like pinch my fucking nipples, and they're like, oh, this fucking guy. And then we're just so crazy with each other that people think we're like old college buddies or something. Cool, so the key here is it's kind of like when you tease a girl, and she just doesn't respond, right? That's kind of a similar thing. You went for a risk, You went for that risk to try to get some good result to come out of it, and it just didn't hit, or something didn't quite happen. Do you retreat and kind of like get called out, right? And you're just like, oh fuck, all right, hey, you got me? Or do you just plow it fucking forward and say a more crass joke, or go around it a little bit and say something even more obnoxious, or just keep driving the train forward, right? Anytime I'm trying to do a game tactic like that, I never admit defeat. I just go harder with it, more aggressive. So if the bouncer actually leads me to, usually the bouncer doesn't lead you to the table unless you pressure it. Usually you're just like, oh, table 42. And usually when I'm saying the table number, I actually see a group of girls or a cool guy that's acting very friendly, or I'll see some desired area first, and then I'll say that I'm at that table. That's why that sheet is so important, because I'll quickly look up on the sheet. It takes 2 seconds. Like, it's very apparent what table number it is. And at this point, I know kind of where all the tables are that I want access to, and I'll grab the nearest bouncer and I say, hey, I'm at table 47. I think it's in that area. could you help me out a little bit, bro? And immediately he's like, yeah, I got you. 47, it is over there. Or no, it's actually over here. And then he'll correct me, and then I'll go to that area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So usually it doesn't happen. But if it does happen where he leads you to a table that's empty, I'll immediately look at him and be like, I thought you said this was table 47. And then I'll say it in this like, what the fuck? And then immediately he goes just straight back to me and goes, this is table 47. And I go, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't see my friends. Do you see my friends? I don't see them. And then I don't want to be rude or obnoxious here, but I don't see them. And he goes, no, I don't see your friends. And I go, so you see my problem? and then he at that point, half the time he'll just get annoyed and walk away. Which, okay, I'm now at that point, like I've already achieved what my goal is. Does that make sense? Like I'll just sit there, I'll be like, all right, fine. Can you just grab the waitress then? That used to, for about a year and a half, that was my whole thing, is I would sit at bottle service tables with no bottle, but I would just use the waitress to bring me drinks. And I would pay for the drinks or whatever, like, I would buy like, 2 drinks or 3 drinks a night or something, and I would just use because as a PA, do we really give a fuck about the table?
Yeah.
And anyway, the point is I can almost always negotiate that, where I can just sit at the table and no one's there, and then I just order drinks, like 1 drink at a time from the waitress. Table drill. Who does not know what the table drill is, but you have heard me mention it last night? Raise your hand. Cool. Who does know what the table drill is? Yeah, there you go. Cool. Have you done it yet?
Once.
How'd it work?
It worked pretty good in like the beginning, but then I kind of just like, because I know I have to like bring the party to the...
No, stop. I mean, at that point, I don't even give a shit. Did it work for the first 20 seconds?
Yeah.
How well?
I got in. I was at the table.
There you go. Right? It's kind of like saying an opener worked. If I ask you, hey, if I give you an opener and I say, hey, did that work? I don't give a shit if you didn't fuck the girl off the open. Right? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
The table drill, if I give that to you and it worked, meaning did they accept you into the table and did it buy you 30 seconds? Then that's a really good success, right? The cool thing about the table drill is it will work. I mean, I hate throwing these percentages out because then sometimes like guys will try to prove it wrong, but like it works for me 100% of the time. I think it'll work for you guys 80% to 100%. Table drill is you go up to tables, you infiltrate their table, and you associate yourself with their group, and you stay with that group instead of going to the table or the bar area or the dance floor area. Okay? Any of you guys have an idea on how you could do that? There you go. Bring value to the table, right? Have 2 girls with you. What's the only problem with that in a city like Vegas or Miami? There's guys who are paid by the club to just throw them girls, right? And that actually will sometimes just make them feel insecure. Because I've tried this whole deal where like, oh, you bring girls to the club and you try to get into the club with girls, or you try to throw girls at a table. Right? Exactly. That's what happens sometimes, right? So instead, what can you do? What's the one thing that I want to see if you guys can come up with the answer. What's the one thing that you could do if the girls, or if the guy at that table and the girls that are there, they have everything they could possibly need? How could you infiltrate that table by showing them that you don't need anything? Larry, what do you think? To this day, one of my favorite openers, I did a 90-day program in Australia with a guy, private coaching for 90 straight days. He lives in Chicago. He came up with one of my favorite openers I ever have heard. He's got a drink, it's full. He goes up to a girl and he goes, could you buy me a drink? It's a full drink. Right? Why is that funny? This guy's rich. He's like a couple $100 million. He's 29, 30 years old. Do you think he needs the girl to buy him a drink? Yes or no? No. Does she know that he's rich? No. Right? If she does know, then I'd be nervous because she's looking at his shoes or his watch, and that I'd be a little nervous, right? How does he convey that he doesn't want anything from the girl? By having a full drink in his hand. You understand? Why is that magical? Why is that beautiful? Because it's a $12 drink, an $8 to $20 drink, right? That conveys the maximum amount of value that you could possibly have. Right? You go up to a bottle service area with a drink in your hand. I will grab drinks off fucking tables. And sometimes for fun, I'll try to see how close, just to fuck with the shit, I'll see how close can I grab a full bottle from like the distance between the table I'm trying to infiltrate and how close it can be, because it's very easy to go off over here and like grab a half empty bottle of like a dude's kind of left, right? But it's fucking risky as shit to try to hit on girls at that table and grab a bottle of vodka at this table and just grab it and then go over here, right? But how arrogant do you need to be, and how much of a non-value seeker do you need to be if you're carrying a bottle of vodka going up to a group of guys being like, hey, what's up? Like, they don't know what to do with you. Do you think they think that you're trying to steal from them or take from them? Right? Not at all. This is how social circle game can work, where you can do this in 30 minutes, an hour. Whereas if you try to do just pure direct game or presence game, what are you going to do? You're going to go up to the girl and do what? Hand of God. Hey. What? What are you going to say? Give me a line. Huh?
Who are you? Where are you from?
Let's see. Yeah. Who are you? What's your story? Right? Get your little ass over here. Right? That shit's money on the street. Right? You're walking up and down the street. Like, there's nobody in the world who's as good at street game as Owen is. Like, it's literally, hey, where is he? I want to beacon on him every time he does street game. Right? He's amazing at it. But if you're in a nightclub, you kind of can't really do that street game kind of approach, because everyone's stationary. You don't really have bottle service people moving from table to table, right? So it's a bit more zero-sum, right? It's a zero-sum game. Okay, so when you go up to it, you have to make it very, very clear that you don't want anything from that table. Once you make it clear you don't want anything from them, guess what's going to happen? It's crazy what they'll do. They will, like, dude, you do the table drill, like, you do it well enough, the one line will get you to fuck a girl. It's wild, right? You do the table drill well enough. I mean, granted, when I do the table drill, I'm an obnoxious, I mean, just imagine, like, the little bit that you guys know about me, imagine how I do the table drill. I'm taking off my belt, grabbing a bottle of vodka. The bouncer's like, what are you doing? I go fuck yourself. And then I start pouring it on the guy who just bought this table. And I hope that he tilts his head back. Like no joke, like that's what's happening. Because guess what happens to me regardless of what occurs? The girls laugh their ass off. Worst case scenario, the guy's like, go fuck yourself, and he pushes me, and I'm like, ha ha ha. But like, that's the best way to like bro out with a dude who just bought a table, right? To show that kind of balls. Now granted, it takes a little bit of gregariousness, I guess is a nice word for it, to be able to do that. But you do that, they're gonna fucking love you, and all those girls are gonna be like, who the fuck is that guy? Right?
Are you saying you take their bottle?
I'm doing the, now that we're kind of winding to the end of the seminar, I'm giving you guys like what I would do. And I'm trying to get you guys to at least do like 5, 6, or 7 on that 10-point scale, right? That's why I said go up to the bottle service table with a full drink in your hand. That's what you guys should be realistically doing. When I do it, I will grab a bottle of vodka off of somebody else's table, right? At a convenient moment, and I'll bring it up to another table and say, hey, what's up, table neighbor? When I say what's up, table neighbor, what does that imply?
You have a table.
Correct. And if they don't quite get that, what's in my hand? A bottle. So I'm making it extremely clear that I don't need what?
Free alcohol.
Anything from them at all. Right? Okay? And by me going up to the guy, what does that imply? When he's got a bunch of girls around him. That I don't want to fuck his girls. But guess what I want to do? I want to fuck all of them. I'm going to. Even if it takes me months, I'm going to weed my way into his life. Right? Okay, so what do? It all starts with me grabbing a fucking, sometimes an empty bottle of Goose off some retarded fucking table. I'll grab it, go like this, and guess what? Again, be very careful doing this, but maybe 25% of the time, a bouncer's like, what are you doing? I go, who the fuck are you? And I go over here. You say it like that, guess what happens? He's like, I don't know. And he goes over here. Right? It's kind of funny. I mean, even me saying it, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Right? But then guess what? You turn it up a notch, right? Right? Where you want the energy to go? All the way up. Okay? So then you want to do like exactly what I would do? You grab the guy's face who bought the table by his chin, you tilt his fucking chin back, and you go, here, you want a shot? And he goes, oh, what? And when he opens his mouth to answer you, you just start pouring the vodka in his mouth. You just made a rich friend forever. Any questions? Who in here is not comfortable doing this? Like they're like, hey, that's funny, but this is super retarded. No, raise your hand really high so I can see.
Like I still do it, but
I want to.
I'm not gonna lie.
I want to know, but I don't feel comfortable to do it.
The comfort thing is interesting. The only way to succeed in this is to only do things that are what? Uncomfortable. If you do things that are comfortable ever, like the second I do something where I'm like, oh, this feels right, I'm like, no, fuck. I gotta do some crazy shit. Right? Because if I do something that's comfortable, I've already done it, I'm already used to it. Immediately I'm doing something wrong if it's comfortable. You understand? I will risk not having the result in order to do something uncomfortable. Do you know what that does? It forces me to never have approach anxiety. It forces me to never really, it forces you to be more of a sociopath. Right? Not in a bad way, but in like a very contained kind of way. Right? Okay. Why do you think I say that?
Because they just don't give a fuck.
Exactly. But let's not give a fuck in a strategic way that's going to get you some results. You could not give a fuck and grab a bottle of vodka off some random table and then just like do some weird thing with it, right? But the strategy here, the approach, is to prove, and not only prove, but shove it down this fucking guy's throat that you don't want anything from him. To the point where you're literally shoving alcohol down his throat and you don't want anything from him. Right? You know what's crazy? You don't even have to do that. Just go up with a full drink in your hand to some guy who has a bottle and say, hey, you want a drink? Let me buy you a drink. You look cool. Guess what the guy's going to say? Oh, I'm good. You want one though? You want one? Oh, I'm good. But now you're at this table. If you don't want to do it the obnoxious way, just do that. It works so well. And now guess what happens?
You're at the table.
And then what?
Fuck these girls.
Yeah, let's get a step in between there. Right? You act like the most charming beta fuck in the world until 420 happens. Dude, you flirt with all of the girls until guess what? You're the guy who doesn't count. You combine all of this shit together with the gregariousness, the nut job shit, and then all of a sudden you're the guy who they're like, dude, I'm the only guy that's allowed on the girls' birthday parties, the Cabo trips, the Soho fashion show trips, where it's only girls, and then other dudes, other girls' boyfriends are like, wait, but Luke's coming, and they're like, and guess what they say? That's Luke. I have text messages where I'm invited to Cabo in the next couple weeks, and I'm not going, but I all these, it's crazy. With the hottest Asian girl that I've ever almost fucked. I haven't fucked her yet, but I've almost. The only reason I've never fucked her is she's thrown up every time. She gets so drunk, and I'm just like, this is weird. She's thrown up every time she stayed over, and she just vomits. And I'm like, dude, take some Pepto or something. This is not good, right? But some dude bought her a trip to Cabo, and she's for her birthday, and she's inviting all of her female friends. And every time, I'm the one who's invited. Why do you think that is? It's Luke, but more specifically, I'm the guy. I'm the teddy bear with a dildo. I'm the guy who doesn't count. I'm the gay best friend who's not gay. There should be some light bulbs that go off here. This is super, super magical. This is awesome. Okay? You guys understand this? You want to rail a lot of girls? Be the guy that doesn't count. Because then guess what happens after you fuck her? You can count if you want to. But every girl that I date, all of their friends are like, yeah, bring Luke along, bring Luke along. It's like a Wednesday, like girls' night only. Well, yeah, but it's Luke. Yeah, but like I'm the most sexual one of all of them. I'm just not the creepy guy in the corner who's just like I'm not trying to aggressively hit on the girl. You understand? I'm just making crass sexual jokes to what? To the group, to all of them. It's such a simple thing. Don't make the joke to the one girl. Make it to the group entirely. And they will all just love you for it. You understand?